Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. Stand up for your country. Well, the Trump haters apparently have been dealt a very big blow by something that broke today about the Epstein files. Interesting story, and we'll have it for you coming soon. I did speak with President Trump about Iran. I'm going to tell you all about that. And we're going to have more on Neville Roy Singham. Remember, we broke that story a couple of weeks ago. Others had been investigating, but we really put a vivid sign on it. He's an American traitor living in Shanghai, China, funneling hundreds of millions of dollars into radical groups in the USA. And we believe those groups are paying agitators to try to essentially destroy the government of the USA. So we're going to have more on that right now. Talking points memo. So this morning, the House Ways and Means Committee held hearings on Singham and a few radical groups that are under investigation. One caveat here. Congress is now being pretty aggressive investigating this. Where's the FBI? Where are the departments of the U.S. government? Silence. Don't like that. I understand you can't give specifics. You can't convict people or even give names, but you can give an overview as we are giving, okay? So the investigation this morning was led by Congressman Jason Smith, Missouri, Ways and Means, as I mentioned. And he focused in on two groups, Breakthrough Media and Tricontinental, the Institute for Social Research. Okay? So the House is subpoenaing records from those two groups. Now, they are shadowy. These are really, we're getting down to it now. Remember, all coming out of China, which is not America's friend. Okay. Breakthrough Media. Its headquarters, 320 West 37th Street in New York City. Same address as the People's Forum. Same address. What's the People's Forum? As we reported, communist organization. Okay? And they are getting money from Mr. Singham. Whoa, what a coincidence. Okay? So they say, Breakthrough News says that they regularly produce content that's aligned with the Chinese Communist Party, which is allowed under the Constitution. You can be a communist, you can promote communism. It's allowed, okay? The head of this group is a woman named Carla Reyes, all right, who's apparently a communist, she'd have to be. And the whole crew is, the Jerusalem Post has done a big expose on these people and how radical left they are. Remember, the central part of this is funneling money to these groups, Shanghai to New York, to Minnesota, to Portland, Oregon, to LA, wherever, to pay agitators to go out and destroy things, attack federal agents, on and on. That is the allegation. That is why we are doing the story. Okay. The other one is Tricontinental Institute for Social Research. This is in Northampton, Massachusetts. Okay? It has offices in 4 countries: Argentina, South Africa, India, and Brazil. It is a, quote, Marxist think tank. All right. So it remains to be seen whether the federal government can prove that these organizations are funding agitators who are committing violence. That would be conspiracy. Now, we already know that Neville Roy Singham's a traitor. And if you don't like it, Mr. Singham, come on and sue me. Okay, come on back here. And I'll be happy to go up against you. You're a traitor. And you're getting people killed, to boot. Now, this guy Singham New York Times exposed them a few years ago. Congress has been on them since October. But again, FBI, we have no blanket idea. The other thing that's a little bit disturbing is that I asked Secretary Bessent where the defunding of these organizations are, because the organizations that Singham gives money to are all nonprofit 501cs. And Bessent gave me the middle finger. That wasn't nice. He didn't really, but I'm doing, when you ignore a legitimate question from me, who has millions of viewers all over the world, that's not smart, Mr. Secretary. So now I'm watching you. It's not a threat. It's like, this is your job. You can go on CNBC and Fox News, Business News all day long and tell everybody how great the economy is, but you need to address serious things like this. All right? And I talked about it with President Trump. He's on it. And I told you in our last report that I did give him the information that we had because he requested it. And that's my job as an American. But Bessent, we are open to hearing what you have to say, but you should say something. I think that's fair. All right, let's sum this up. So China's not a friend of the USA. We got an American trader over there in Shanghai. He's pumping money into all of these nonprofits. The nonprofits are then sending the money to agitators, we believe, okay, who are then getting people killed and disrupting all kinds of investigations on the federal level and causing rebellion. That's where we are, all right? And I'm not going to leave this story. I'm not going to let it go. And you're not going to hear it on ABC or NBC or CBS. You're not going to hear it. They won't report it. I don't know why. It's insane. I mean, this Savannah Guthrie mother tragedy, horrible. But this story is covered 10,000 times more than this story about fostering rebellion in your own country. And it just, I know it's easy to cover the Guthrie story. I'm going to write about it tomorrow in the message of the day. But we know what's important here, and that's the memo. Most people do not want a lecture when they are ill. They want medication fast. But too often, the system makes it harder than it should be. Appointments take weeks. Prescriptions get denied. Your insurance gets in the way. That's why more Americans are switching to all family pharmacy. If you already know what medication works for you, all family pharmacy makes it easy to get it. You order online, licensed doctor reviews a request, and your medication is delivered directly to your own door. They carry everyday prescription medications, antibiotics, ivermectin, NAD+, others you will not always find at big chain pharmacies. So choose freedom. Choose the right pharmacy. Choose All Family Pharmacy. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use my code BILL10. Save 10% on your next order. Okay, Epstein files. Now, I don't cover this because I knew it was bogus from the beginning. Because I know Trump, 35 years. I know what he does. I know who he hangs with. I knew this was BS. But the Trump haters desperately want to hang Epstein around him. Now, the latest information, okay, from all of these files is, now stay with me, I'm going to walk right through this. 2006, Jeffrey Epstein was under investigation for crimes involving minor girls. That got into the press. Trump called authorities in Palm Beach County, and specifically the sheriff, Michael Ryder. Trump told the sheriff, according to the documents in the Epstein files, okay, you better get Epstein. He's an awful guy. Okay. That same year, 2006, Epstein was indicted. It took 2 years, and he was convicted on state charges. In Florida, he served 18 months in prison. Then he got out of prison and went back to doing the same stuff. Come on. The feds did not indict him. Now, there's a lot of controversy about that. Feds should have indicted him or they made a deal. I'm not an expert on that. So Trump was basically anti-Epstein before 2006, but now he's on the record. So you would think that everybody would report this the way I just did, and then the hysteria would stop. Nope. CNN comes out and says, well, that indicates that Trump knew what Epstein was doing and didn't report it quickly enough, or some stupid spin garbage like that. Now, we're going to define that tomorrow a little more clearly to you about how dishonest this whole thing is. But that was an important thing about all of these people who spend hours and hours and hours trying to convict Trump of something. And now we have documentation that he was anti-Epstein and actually informed the authorities in 2006. All right, ICE in California, federal judges ruled that they can wear masks, and California has no right to tell them they can't, because federal law supersedes state law. Judges Christina Snyder, appointed by Bill Clinton, the judge said, though, if ICE is going to participate in raids, they have to wear an ID on their uniform, which is fair. Fair. Okay? So that ruling came down. U.S. added $700 billion in national debt in the first 4 months of the fiscal year. So it doesn't go January to January in the federal government. It goes October to October. Almost $1 trillion. The Trump administration is not going to cut spending. I mean, I know the Doge and all that, but there's so many things going on. And the president is very grandiose. He likes to move things. But there's a warning from the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, better stop. Both parties have to stop it, because that's going to cause the economy to crash. You cannot carry $37 trillion in debt. And it mounts each quarter now. We're at $700 million more debt. It's got to stop. This should be every day, every way reported. And both parties are at fault. Democrats don't want it. They want to increase spending on every level. Now, there is a poll out from the National Taxpayers Survey, okay? And it asked 800 registered voters 3 questions. Here they are. Of the 3 ways to reduce the debt, what do you think's best? Cutting government spending, 54%. That's my thing. Growing the economy, 32%. That's too dicey. Raising taxes, 13%. And that includes Democrats. Okay. Second question. Indicate if you agree or disagree with the following statement. There is currently an affordability crisis in this country. Agree 89, disagree 11, and that's why you can't raise taxes. Okay. Third question. 37 trillion national debt will eventually become a problem that has real impact on me and my family. Agree 88%, disagree 11. It's already a problem that's having influence on you and your family. Too much money going out of the country. And a lot of it's going to China. So China buys U.S. treasuries and all of that, okay? Chinese banks buy American paper. But now the Chinese government is warning their own banks, cut back on that. Ooh. That means that the value of U.S. investment is going to go down. This is a mess. Congress has got to stop it. Congress is in charge of spending. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty-free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. If you are a homeowner, there's no better time than now to call American Financing to wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the fourth time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate that's in the low fives. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. There are no upfront fees, no obligation to see how much you can save. If you begin today, might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So please call 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Iran. So I talked with President Trump about this, and I'm not name dropping. I mean, I got to report what's going on. The president would rather make a deal than bomb Iran. Why? He doesn't want to kill Persian civilians, and that would happen. And I think that's noble. So if we go in with air power off our carriers and start to bomb Revolutionary Guard headquarters, whatever it may be, civilians are going to die, and that's going to be all over the world. So he wants to make a deal with Iran, but I don't think Iran wants to make the deal, my opinion. Okay, I don't think they're just slow walking it, and I don't see anything. But the last minute, that could change. When will the last minute happen? After the Olympics. I don't believe it's going to be any, we're giving you 24 hours kind of deadline till the Olympics are over. I could be wrong about that. Joining us now is an expert on what's happening in the Middle East and Iran, E.J. Kimball, foreign policy analyst with the U.S. Israel Education Association. So one of the reasons that you're here, Mr. Kimball, in addition to being a smart guy, is because it's not only the USA that has to sign off on what's going to happen in Iran, but Israel does, and Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states do, correct?
That's true. And Bill, thanks for having me on. There are a lot of players that have a role to play in this decision. And, I think your conversation with President Trump makes a lot of sense. And I agree. President Trump does not want to carry out airstrikes because he knows that it's going to lead to civilian deaths. That would be unfortunate. He wants to make a deal, but he has shown, even in Venezuela, he wanted to make a deal with Maduro. Maduro would not play ball. And I think what we're seeing right now with the Iranians, they're not looking to make a deal right now. They're trying to negotiate over the terms of negotiating. And right. President Trump's not going to sit around and let that happen. It's just not, he's not going to let them play that game.
But he's got the Olympics to worry about. We got 2 more weeks of that.
Well, that's true. But I will say, and this is where President Trump is so unique, because if this was President Biden, President Obama, even President Bush, I don't think we would even be talking about this. But President Trump is so unpredictable that could he carry out this strike while the Olympics are going on? It's a question that we have to ask, and that's been his MO all along. Expect the unexpected.
It's a good point, the unpredictability of it, certainly. But that is an inhibitor because you've got this big worldwide thing, and then you go in and regime change. But regime change, I think, has to happen in Iran. But it has to be done by the Persian people themselves. And if you weaken the mullahs and their Revolutionary Guard protectors, it's more likely to happen. But right now, the focus is on Iran obeying the nuclear prohibition. and I don't see a lot of regime change talk. Do you?
I'm not seeing a lot of that talk, but President Trump has talked about regime change. He's used the terms regime change. He said to the people, help is on the way. And that's a big thing, that he put his credibility on the line there for the people. But I agree with you. He's not looking to do a regime change and own it. I mean, look, he campaigned in 2016 about nation building and criticizing the Bush administration. He's not going to do that. What we saw and what we're seeing in Venezuela is this attempt to get rid of the top and see if the next level can work with you. Now, I don't know if there's levels within the IRGC that would be willing to work with the Trump administration and get rid of the nuclear program, the ballistic missile program, stop funding the terror proxies, stop repressing the people. I think that's way too much to ask for out of the IRGC.
Yeah,
maybe there is
new leadership, a secular leadership goes in. But we own Venezuela now. So we're calling every shot in that country. They're not calling any. I know that to be true. Any prediction on what's going to happen in Iran?
I think that we will carry out strikes. I think part of the reason why this may take a few more weeks is that a first strike by the United States will be a massive strike that not only takes out the threats inside of Iran, but also the threats in the region that could attack U.S. forces and our allies. And that's the Houthis, that's the militias in Iraq. We're talking about anything remaining in Syria, anything remaining with Hezbollah. I think it will be massive.
Wow.
And coordinated with other countries. President Trump wants a win. He doesn't want a long war. He wants to go in fast and have a massive, overwhelming response.
All right. We have you on tape, EJ, and thank you for appearing today.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's an unbelievable story. Did you ever hear of the jock tax? It's in California, of course, the highest tax state in the history of mankind, except for communism, where they take all your stuff. And if California could do that, they would. So, Super Bowl is in Santa Clara, and the teams come in about 8 days before the game to practice and all of that. So Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks. He and his teammates each make $178,000 for the victory. Each player on the Seahawks makes that much money. You know what California is charging Darnold for playing and practicing in the state for 8 days? $250,000. So he loses money. He loses money by going there and winning the Super Bowl. Is this a riot? I'm going, wait. California goes in and takes his money. Now, if it's my accountant, if I'm Darnold, I don't pay it. Okay, I don't pay it. I just challenge it and challenge it and challenge it. I'll pay the money to challenge it. I'm just going, you can't confiscate my winnings, which is what they're doing. So I'm going to follow this story. The California personal income tax rate, state tax, is 13.3% at the highest level. And Darnold paying that and more because he's a jock coming in from out of state. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Thursday, August 17, 2023. Stand up for your country, but stand down in trying the Donald Trump situation in your own home, on television and radio, or anywhere else. I'm getting a flood of mail. Well-intentioned people, by the way, that want to discuss the minutia of the charges against Donald Trump and Hunter Biden. But I can't do that responsibly because I don't have discovery. So do you know what discovery is? In any court case, civil or criminal, both sides must put forth the evidence and the defense so that no one is surprised in a court of law by stuff they're not expecting. So there's a rigorous process that goes on before any trials. Information changes hands, ebb and flow. So anybody can make any allegation about anything. And the press does that all day long. They don't care about discovery or anything else. All right, the press just want the giant allegations so people read or buy, whatever they do, consume their news. But responsible people like me, I have to wait and see what the special prosecutor, Jack Smith, has in the case on January 6th. I don't think he has much, but I don't know. I don't know what Donald Trump's defense is going to be in Mar-a-Lago. Now, we're going to get into all of that tonight. I'm going to tell you what is on the record, what I can report. But if you want speculation, it is not the program for you. One thing I can say with certainty is that much of the action against Donald Trump is politically driven. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Number one, Stormy Daniels, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Uber leftist Bragg. The city is in chaos because of him. Statistics. He took office on January 1st, 2022, last year. Okay? From that time to November of 22, 11-month period, Bragg downgraded 52% of all felony arrests. That means the police arrested somebody, they were charged with a felony, it went to Bragg's office, he goes, nope, downgraded. Either threw it out or downgraded it to a misdemeanor. 52%, okay? Compared to 39% in the year before Bragg took office. So you can see this guy didn't want to prosecute many people. He lets heavyweight heroin dealers go out on no bail. He lets gangbangers with a rap sheet a mile long caught with loaded pistols out on no bail. This is not a responsible human being in any way, Alvin Bragg, in my opinion. Okay, so he's charging Donald Trump with a felony for allegedly paying Stormy Daniels money to keep her quiet. 90% of high-profile human beings, male or female, would have done the same thing because they don't want their families embarrassed and they don't want their businesses harmed. Remember, anybody can make an allegation about anything. Just want it to go away. Bragg knows that, and Bragg never would have charged this case unless Donald Trump was involved. Never in a million years would this man, Alvin Bragg, have brought that case. And he still has not defined what the felony charge is. After all this time. And he says, I don't have to until the discovery process. Makes me angry because I know it's corruption. That's number one. So this is political here. Let's go to Atlanta. Fani Willis, Fulton County. Okay. She has charged Donald Trump with 13 felony counts to try to illegally overturn the Georgia vote. Not just in Atlanta, but all of Georgia. So, where is the Attorney General of the state? That's his purview. Fani only has jurisdiction in Fulton County, one county. So, I went on News Nation with Chris Cuomo last night and said this. Go. Do you know how many counties there are in Georgia? Do you know?
No. How many?
159. Do you know how many district attorneys joined with Fani Willis in this action?
0.
Okay. Interesting. Now, jurisdiction, she has it in the Atlanta, Fulton County area.
Yes.
Does not have it in Cobb County. Doesn't have it in Savannah. Doesn't have it anywhere else. But who does? The Attorney General of the state, who should have brought this case because it is a statewide case. The alleged fraud, the alleged racketeering did not just happen in Atlanta, it happened all over Georgia. But not one district attorney from any other of the 158 counties would join with her. That should raise every red flag in the world. Okay, that logic is irrefutable. And a lot of these counties in Georgia have Democrat DAs. Nobody signed on. So, the only conclusion that a fair, rational person can come to at this juncture is this is political, just like New York City. Here's what Jonathan Turley said about it. Go.
Willis seems to have charged everything and everyone, is allowing God to sort them out. You look at this indictment, and every call, every tweet, every speech seems to be a separate criminal act that composes this conspiracy. That raises really troubling questions as to the criminalization of the challenges to elections.
Now, we went over that in a historical sense with Thomas Jefferson, Aaron Burr, John Marshall. It's a message of the day. You can access it on BillO'Reilly.com. Okay, so the two so-called local beefs against Trump are undeniably political, in my opinion, and I think I backed it up to the extent Cuomo didn't have anything last night. He couldn't refute it. He didn't agree with it, but okay, you believe what you want to believe. All right? Now let's get to the feds. So, Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, all right? Now, he's been maligned on the right. He blew the case of the former governor of Virginia, McDonnell, and he's a zealot. I mean, he's going to do what he's told to do by his boss, Merrick Garland. And we all know that. Nobody challenges that. So, Smith's whole case on January 6th, his entire case, is that Donald Trump knew he lost the election of 2020. He knew it. But he tried to overturn the election anyway. That's his whole case. Now, the key witness to that case is Vice President Mike Pence, because Trump wanted Pence to go in and delay the electoral count certification. We all remember this. That's what happened on January 6th. All right? Pence would not do that. Now, if Pence would walk into discovery, where he's under oath, and say, Trump told me he lost the election, but wanted me to stop it anyway, Trump's then convicted. But Pence goes on NBC News and doesn't say that. Go.
I looked through the process. I was determined to hear the objections that Republicans were planning to bring, Chuck, and many did bring. Right. I mean, you remember Democrats brought objections to Electoral College votes in 3 of the last 4 elections that Republicans prevailed. There's nothing unusual about that.
None of it, right.
But I did ask the parliamentarian.
Under the law.
I did ask the parliamentarian very directly, Chuck. Right. I asked her because I was hearing rumors. I was reading in the newspaper that there were alternate electors. I asked her point blank.
Was anybody in the White House telling you this?
From any state. And she said there was not. I don't recall that. I just remember hearing it in the public. And I wanted a definitive answer whether or not the parliamentarian had received any additional electoral votes. She had not.
Okay, once again, was anybody in the White House telling you this? I don't recall that. That's Trump's strongest point. Now, somebody told Mike Pence, hey, we know we lost, but we want you to go in there and boot it anyway, delay it anyway, so we get fake electors in there. And Trump is guilty. And so are all the people who would have advised him to do that. But that's not what Pence said publicly. So is what Pence going to go back now, an evangelical Christian under oath, and counter what he said on Meet the Press? I don't think so. Now, I'm not trying this case, not doing that, because Smith may have other evidence about his allegation that Trump knew he lost and took illegal steps to negate the election. He might have something else that I don't know about. But if it's Pence, he loses. Smith loses. Everybody knows Chuck Norris. He's not just an action star in the movies. He's a vet, family man, big on health. Now, Chuck has spent decades of his life trying every supplement out there. Most did nothing, but a few provided dramatic changes. So Chuck Norris put them together into a drink called Morning Kick. By adding Morning Kick to his diet, Chuck says he feels better at the age of 83 than he has in years. Morning Kick combines Chuck Norris's favorite supplements into one great tasting daily drink. It's got probiotics for weight loss, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for your muscles and joints, as well as several powerful anti-aging supplements. You'll end up with more energy, better digestion, and you'll think more clearly and feel younger. Visit mymorningkick.com/first. That's mymorningkick.com/first. Remember, all individuals are unique, so your results can and will vary. Let's get to the mail. Rich Brothers, Petaluma, California. Bill, your insightful monologue on the Jefferson Bird treason trial was amazing. I loved it. You're a great reporter with a true historical background. I never knew that Justice Marshall was Thomas Jefferson's cousin. Okay, so we did that for a reason. And just check out the message of the day and all the stuff on BillO'Reilly.com, and you'll see it. Become a premium or concierge member. Get transcripts. If you're a concierge member and premium member, transcripts of anything you want, free. You know, this is stuff to have. Joseph Severino, Bronx, New York. I agree with today's column about Donald Trump hurting the Republicans and himself by not sending the classified documents back. But you have to understand the Democrats would have come up with something else. It doesn't matter. You do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Yeah, all right. They come up with something else, but it's not Mar-a-Lago. Sharon, we can only hope President Trump has documented every detail about the Mar-a-Lago documents, and it will be clear he did nothing wrong. Well, maybe we'll find out a little bit on the Monday, but I think on Monday he's going to do the Georgia thing. But I gave you the timeline, and the timeline is where we are now. But obviously in discovery, other information will come forth. Paul, President Trump says he was working with the National Archives at the time of the raid. I gave you the timeline, Paul. Okay, you make your own decision. Carol, I had multiple attorneys inform me that very few attorneys, good or bad, will work for Trump because they may be blackballed. True. Absolutely true. It's not easy for him to get attorneys for him. Lisa Rosati, Montreal, Canada. If the indictments were posted on a court's website in Georgia before the grand jury voted, would the case be dismissed? You'd have to investigate that. It should be investigated. But everybody knows the fix was in Fulton County. They don't think anybody that doesn't know that. Every Canadian, Lisa, like you, knows. Bill, why do you always say Bobby Kennedy Jr. has no chance of winning? Because he has no chance of winning. The odds are 11% that he will be the next president, the Vegas odds. And if you go to London, you can actually put money on it. It's illegal here in the United States. He just doesn't have a constituency. The Democrats don't like him. Most Republicans don't like him. The anti-vaxxers like him, but that's not enough. Christopher, Mark Twain said, if you don't read the news, you are uninformed. And if you do read it, you are misinformed. Mark Twain, love him. Okay, Killing the Witches. This book will shake up your life. September 26th. Pre-order now, BillO'Reilly.com, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We have 150 tickets left for the O'Reilly Show live, Paramount Theater in Huntington, Long Island, on October 27, 2023. So obviously, with just 150 tickets left, you're going to have to move it. And if you can't go, just sell them on a secondary market. You make some money. Beautiful time to be on Long Island, the end of October with the leaves, and go to Sagamore Hills, see Teddy Roosevelt's house. And I mean, it's really a nice time to come and see us. And we hope you do. This is the last announcement for the summer reading program. Killing Crazy Horse, Killing the Killers, Killing the Legends, all $32.95, and we'll throw in a free Team Normal hat. Last one, you want them? You got to go now. And all the Team Normal gear marked down 15%. And then if you're a premium concierge member, you get a discount on top of the 15%. So we're giving this stuff to you. Word of the day, one of my favorites, to not be a Poppin' J. I used it recently, and I called somebody a popinjay, and it just confused. They were like, what? I'm going to use that on Cuomo, on Chris Cuomo. I'm going to use that pretty soon. Hey, don't be a popinjay. Okay, let's take another fast break. Final thought, you're going to want to hear it. Right back. Hey, if you watch my program, then you already know how much I love Holly the Terror Dog. I could never imagine the awful experiences some innocent pups have had, like being abandoned or not fed properly. Animal cruelty is horrific, despicable behavior, and sadly, there are sickos who do it. This is why I am eager to tell you about Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, careful life sanctuary in the country. All of their 1,500 plus animals were abandoned, left for dead. I can assure you it is not cheap to rescue thousands of animals, and it's not inexpensive to feed them and provide them with love and comfort. This is why Delta Rescue needs our help. Please give what you can. Every dollar counts. Visit deltarescue.org, deltarescue.org. Find it in your heart to give today. Here is the final thought of the day. I'll be off on vacation next week, but with an asterisk. Family coming in, annual summer family thing. But I'm going to do special messages after the Trump presser. And I don't know what's going to happen with the debate. I'll do something on Thursday after the Wednesday night debate. If it gets like bloody, I'll come on. I'll break my vacation. I'll come on. But just go to BillO'Reilly.com each morning. We'll guide you through the day. We got a lot of good stuff there. And I got to take time off. I mean, family is really important. And the whole year, people look forward to coming out here on Eastern Long Island for a week, and I got to do it. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm a big family guy, and I think that is very, very important for everybody's life. But I do have a responsibility to you, and I will uphold that. Anything happens, my staff is very nimble. We can bang, 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 and we're on it. Also, I want you guys to we got 3 more weeks of summer now, okay? So this is a time to kind of put it aside. I know you got to follow it, but don't get emotionally involved with this. As I said, so many things are going to change as more evidence comes out. I mean, they got 91 counts against Trump. I'm going to predict about 60 of those counts are getting thrown out, maybe more. And so when you hear these charlatans and these dishonest people on television and radio telling you one thing or another and this and that, and they don't know, I mean, I don't know why you even consume that stuff. I don't. I mean, I'm not always right, but I'm right 85, 90% of the time because I don't do the speculation stuff. You know, everything we say is based on, like the timeline we gave you on Mar-a-Lago, that is a very valuable piece of information to have. Because it just says, this is what happened. Here's what happened. And it takes out all the propaganda. That's how you have to come after this. And the stuff I gave you about Bragg and Fannie Willis and all that stuff's in stone. I mean, the most stunning stat that I gave you, there are 159 counties in the state of Georgia. And no DA, none of them on 158 would join up with Fannie, including the Democrats. Come on. I mean, you know, when I saw that, I just went like this. And believe me, there aren't very many people in New York City supporting Alvin Bragg, Stormy Daniels. There aren't. So it comes a time where you have to be rational, to step back, 3 weeks left of summer, enjoy it. After Labor Day, it's pedal to the metal. I mean, the campaign kicks in. And oof. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. And I will see you in some form next week on BillO'Reilly.com. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com. Please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Stand up for your country. You know, Americans like a good scandal. Probably everybody in the world does. It breaks the boredom. You can take sides many times. And we have that with the Jeffrey Epstein situation. Heinous man, now commiserating with Satan. I just can't even describe, the evil that this guy embraced. And the federal government knows about some of that evil. But they are not communicating to the people what exactly they know. Now, it's a little bit complicated, as I wrote in my message of the day. There are innocent people that associated to some extent, maybe they had lunch, maybe they just met him one time, with Epstein. If those people's names get put out into the public, their lives could be ruined. Now, I talked about this with Donald Trump, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But Epstein is now the focus of attention for millions and millions of people. They want to know if the federal government covered up anything, if there were famous people involved with him doing dastardly things. And those are legitimate questions. And honest government will attempt to answer them as best it can while being responsible to the innocent. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So it's a bad look right now. That's a cliche, I know. But with Attorney General Bondi saying one thing and then saying another thing about the so-called Epstein files, I don't know what the files are. I don't know anything about it. But I do know the federal government has information on the man and what the man's activities comprise. They do. FBI has it. And we are not getting that. Now, the Trump administration is transparent. There has not been a modern-day president. I can't think of anybody in the last 100 years who's been more accessible to the press than Mr. Trump. He's on Air Force One. Every time he got a guest, he takes the questions. He's on the tarmac. He's accessible. Comparing him to Biden, you never saw Biden. Biden wouldn't answer any question. You couldn't get close to him. Trump every day. So something's not right here. Okay? And I don't know what it is. Will I find out? I don't know about that either. I did request an interview with Kash Patel, who turned me down. That's not good. I know Mr. Patel, been very fair to him over the years. The guy flat out turned me down. Okay. But my obligation to report that to you. And it looks like the federal government is hiding something. But that may not be true. So that's where we are. And I don't like that feeling, and you don't either. I'm sure you don't. We want some definition here, right? Now, a bit of a timeline. August 10th, 2019. All right. Epstein found dead in his New York City jail cell. I believe it's a suicide. I don't believe the New York City coroner made up the fact that the autopsy showed that he expired by hanging himself. I don't believe that. But millions of people believe that he was murdered to cover up something. That's a conspiracy theory, and it's in play. Now, I can't prove my point because I didn't do the postmortem examination on Epstein. And the whole autopsy hasn't been released. Most of it has. Summary has. And then Epstein's brother brought in, hired guns, got people who were paid to tell Epstein's brother what he wanted to hear, that, it looks suspicious to me. You know how that game goes. Okay? So the conspiracy is underway. Does that mean anything? No. I mean, I wrote Killing Kennedy. You got 10,000 Kennedy conspiracies. And a lot of those people who pushed that made money on it. You want to know what happened to JFK? You read Killing Kennedy. That's what happened to him. Because we were able to get the primary reporting from the FBI. So without any editing or any of that. We're very lucky to get that. Anyway, the chief medical examiner who was involved in the Epstein case, a woman named Dr. Barbara Sampson, and she's an honest woman. You know, I mean, I don't think there's any possibility that she forged anything here, my opinion. Okay, so now what do? Well, clearly the Trump administration doesn't want to hold a press conference, and Bondi would have to do that. She could have Patel there, head of the FBI. But they don't want to do that. Again, it's not a good look. So any skilled law enforcement agent knows what they can and can't tell the public. Unless there's somebody under active criminal investigation, you can't put the name out. That's wrong. You could destroy people's lives. But you can generally tell the folks, me and everybody else, here's what we got. Okay? And here's what the indictment was. This guy was going to get convicted. Evidence is overwhelming. You know, we've learned X, Y, and Z without giving names. You can do that. It's not hard to do that. Here's a kicker on it. Merrick Garland should be in this press conference. Biden had this info for 4 years. Justice Department and Biden. They didn't do anything. Now, if Trump was involved or anybody, any high-ranking Republican, believe me, that would have been out in a second. New York Times would have had that. Washington Post would have had that in a second. If there were any Republican or conservative people involved with Epstein, boom, that would have been out. Okay? And on the other side, I think the Trump administration probably would have gone after anybody on the liberal side. You got Bill Clinton associated with Epstein to some extent. I mean, they crossed paths. I don't know. But none of that ever came out. Just keep that in mind. But Merrick Garland knows as much as Pam Bondi knows. Where's Merrick? Where's him? I don't hear the media screaming about, well, let's bring in Merrick Garland. Or the former FBI chief, what's his name? Escapes me, I'm old. Under Biden. Right? Get them both together. So anyway, the story's not going to go away. It's going to hurt President Trump. I don't think it'll hurt him dramatically, but, you know, leadership is keep your promises, transparency. So let's get this done. That's a memo. Another big criminal case, and he made it a criminal case, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, Joe Biden's personal physician. He took the fifth today. So he walks in to the House and the Oversight Committee, that's Comer, and they ask him two questions, okay? Was he ever told a lie about the president's health? And did he believe Mr. Biden was unfit to execute his duties? Two questions. And then O'Connor says, I am taking the Fifth Amendment because whatever I say might incriminate me. Okay, he's entitled to do that. But now the FBI's got to put him under active criminal investigation. You say, I'm not going to talk to a congressional committee because I might have committed a crime. There, that's it. You got to go then. The FBI's got to go, okay. Now we're going to issue subpoenas. We're going to search your home. We're going to get all your records. We're going to do everything. O'Connor's still going, well, patient doctor privilege. No. That will never hold up in federal court. They'll knock that out immediately. I mean, the responsible judges. So I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? So, Biden announced he has cancer, and his doctor didn't know that. And the cancer just didn't magically appear. That's something that takes time to develop. This is really bad. Really, really bad. Anyway, So Comer says it's clear there was a conspiracy to cover up President Biden's cognitive decline and maybe physical decline. Okay, I believe that. I think Comer's absolutely right. O'Connor's lawyer says that it does not intend to honor one of the most well-known privileges in our law, the patient-physician privilege. Okay, counselor, take it into federal court. You can't have a sitting president unable to perform his duties and his doctor lying about it. I mean, that goes way beyond any kind of privilege. And the Trump administration, I did not know this till we started researching it, it waived executive privilege. It can do that. It said, no, you can't, if Biden had invoked it before he left, maybe. Not now. So it's all doctor-patient. Now, this is going to take years. But the FBI should be aggressively looking at this. Let's see if there's anything else here. It's a big red flag that was lifted today. Here's something I want your opinion on. Do you believe most Americans care? I know you care if you didn't like Biden. But just the regular folks who don't pay attention to the news, do you think they care that Biden was in there for 4 years, second worst president ever? And you read confronting the presidents. I make the case. It's an overwhelming case. Let's put it that way. Do you think they care that they covered all this up? The White House people, the Democratic Party, all the journalists. I think the regular man on the street who doesn't, not ideological, the party doesn't mean much. You think they care? I don't know. But anyway, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com if you want to weigh in on that. Now, while we're talking about Biden, yesterday we had a conversation about his befuddlement and that he was interviewed by Robert Hur, the special counsel, about Biden taking classified documents, putting them in his garage and other places all over the place, which he did. Same thing that Trump took classified and put them in Mar-a-Lago. Same exact thing, other than Trump had the right to do it in the sense that he was president. Biden did not have the right to any classified information at all because he was vice president. Anyway, in the body of the discussion, we mentioned that the tape recording interview between special counsel Hur and his staff and Joe Biden was available on the internet. And the address is youtube.com/Axios. That's a website, AXIOS. youtube.com/Axios if you want to hear the whole thing. Here's a taste of it. Go.
1 month ago dying, May 30th, 2018. Was it 2015 he died? 2015. I think it's 2015.
I'm not sure the months are, but I think that was That's right, Mr. President.
And what's happened in the meantime is that Trump gets elected in November of 2017? 2016. All right. So, what did I have 2017 here?
That's when you left office, January of 2017.
Okay. But that's when Trump gets sworn in.
Right.
January.
Right. Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Correct. And in 2017, Bo had passed, and this is personal. The genesis of the book and the title, Promise Me Dad, was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm, and that was my left.
That's pathetic. And that's the President of the United States. And none of us knew how bad it was. Well, I shouldn't say none of us, but it's really frightening. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or place in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Okay, YouTube welfare state. You want one? We're heading there. 100 million Americans on it. I do an essay that will get your attention on our YouTube channel. It is free. We hope you sign up. YouTube.com/Bill O'Reilly. The Mail. Kevin Ryan, Scottsdale, Arizona. Trump administration has cut inflation in half, but I'm not seeing any cuts in my food prices. And you won't unless you're smart about it, Kevin. So number one, the Waffle House, I believe, cut their $3 egg supplement because eggs have come down so much. That's gone. All right, so you can eat at the Waffle House for less. Number two, Costco and these big trunk stores, that's where you should be buying your food. Number three, if you go to a restaurant, and believe me, where I am right now has insane prices, I won't go. And it's not about money. I got plenty of money to spend in these places. Why waste it? I don't want to get ripped off. So you got to be proactive. When the American consumer becomes proactive, all right, and does the things that I suggest, all right, the prices will come down. Wayne, concierge member, Wayne gets direct access to me. I thought it was de facto that an illegal immigrant could not be granted bail because by their very nature, they're a flight risk. No. You're here, you get due process. So that's the way it is. Norman, concierge member. Thank you, Norman. So many of my acquaintances and family members buy into all the fake news propaganda. It's so frustrating to try to talk with them about it. This time, I took your advice and had my pencil and paper ready. You get the facts, you write them down, you give the facts to the people who are in dreamland. But you know what? Here's the tragedy of it, Norman. No matter what you say to some people, they're not going to believe it because they don't want to believe it. That's it. Jennifer Gebhardt, Glen Cove, New York. Hey, Bill, I noted that you stated you're a registered independent voter. I recently updated my party affiliation in New York State. The only statewide political parties available are conservative, Democrat, Republican. There's no option to choose independent. Yes, there is. You get your voter application form, okay, and you there's a box. I do not wish to register to any political party. Boom, you're an independent. Robert Hudson, Enterprise, Alabama. My wife and I spent a week at a resort in Garmisch, Germany. Beautiful. Garmisch, Germany, Bavaria, beautiful. Great place, but no O'Reilly. When I tried to get to BillO'Reilly.com, it said it was not available. That's because the EU censors us and a lot of other social media organizations. They want me to pay more than $100,000 for so-called libel insurance or defamation insurance. It's a grift, okay? Most countries in the world, you can get us, not the EU. They don't want it. That's the game they're playing. But Ireland gets us. Most important to me. David, concierge member, you're reporting today on the high-profile deaths and suicides in Russia. Stokes my enthusiasm for confronting evil. I've been saying for years Putin is a direct mirror of Stalin, his idol. Putin idolized Stalin. Okay? Confronting the presidents out on September 9th. And Tim Havens, Marblehead, Mass., beautiful town. Just became a concierge member. You and your staff do an amazing job. I got a free copy of Confronting the Presidents. I ordered 2 Not Woke t-shirts, with the great discount. And it was very easy to do all of that. Welcome aboard, Tim Havens. You made a wise decision. It will enhance your life. I hope you like the book. I hope you like the Not Woke gear. And the last 4 days of our sale on the Not Woke stuff on BillO'Reilly.com. Get it while we have it. Get it at a great price. And word of the day, do not be a troglodyte. I love this word. Troglodyte. Troglodyte. Back with a final thought in a moment. You know, I used to sleep terribly, but thankfully I found Beam's Dream Powder. Nighttime blend that's shown to improve sleep. Dream Powder is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients like magnesium, melatonin, and more. Proudly founded in America, Beam is run by people who share our values like hard work and integrity. Beam has improved more than 17.5 million nights of sleep, helping people feel their best. Plus, Beam's giving my audience the ultimate Patriot discount, up to 40% off for a limited time. Try Beam's Dream Powder today. Order at shopbeam.com/Bill. Use code BILL at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Bill. Code BILL, 40% off. Sleep better, wake up stronger, and show up ready, because when you're well rested, you are unstoppable. It wasn't supposed to get this bad. You were on top of your bills, then inflation hit. Prices up 26% from just a few years ago. It's not your fault. You've fallen into debt. But there's a smarter and easier way out. It's called Done with Debt. They don't push loans or bankruptcy on you. Done with Debt are negotiators who go head-to-head with your credit card and loan companies. They have one goal: to reduce or eliminate your debt altogether. Done with Debt moves very fast. Most clients see more money in their pocket by month one. But hurry, because some of their debt erasing strategies are time sensitive. Don't make another bill payment until you talk to a Done with Debt strategist. It's free. So please visit donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. All right, here is the final thought of the day. Concierge membership means that if you have a problem, you have a direct email to me and my staff, and we will try to help you solve the problem. But what we're finding out is that many of our concierge members, and we love them, of course, don't take the steps to solve their own problems. Now, I'll just give you one real mundane. I got a letter that says, I'm going to New York City for the first time. What should I see? Well, there are thousands of things to see in New York City. What am I? Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, the 9/11 Memorial. I mean, you got to narrow it down. Okay, you got to tell me what you want, what you like. You like museums, you like sports, then I can guide you. So when you write to us for concierge and you want problem solved, you got to say, this is what I've done. This is how I've handled it so far. Then I can step in. My producer said that we often ask for the names of lawyers so we can talk to your lawyer to see if you're being represented in a honest way. More than 50% of people won't give us the lawyer information. We can't help you then. If you give us the lawyer information, we'll get on the phone with the lawyer, and I can report back to you saying, this is what they're doing, or this is what they're not doing that they should do, and we told them to do it. So in this life, you have to help yourself, and then other people can assist you more easily. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.